Hello everyone, welcome back to When the Night Comes. We have some questioning of August and other things to do, so we just need to get started, shall we? Like, that's all I need to do right now. If this town wants saving, I'm gonna do it on my terms, and my terms is specifically literally right now. I'm gonna fix the camera real quick. There we go. Let's see what all this is about, shall we? The door to August's office is thankfully unlocked, and I'm pleased to discover that it's empty. The desk is in its usual disarray, papers and books haphazardly strewn across the office, whatever. I take a deep breath and head straight to the filing cabinet I've seen August rummaging through so often, and I carefully open the drawers, see if this guy got anything to hide. Apparently, Piper has her own, a whole portion dedicated to her reports, an impressive feat. After much rummaging, I eventually find Aya's papers stuffed at the very back of the bottom drawer. If I didn't know what I was looking for, they'd have easily gone unnoticed. It certainly looks like August was trying to hide them, or August has tried to hide them, which only increases my suspicion. I find her transfer papers, a glowing letter of recommendation from her previous enforcer. Her records are clean with no discrepancies, nothing but praise. I see the words kind and thoughtful repeated multiple times, and the only complaint, if you can call it that, was that her enforcer is that she was overly cautious. And then I find it. Her discharge papers, an obnoxious red treason stamped across the front page. In the blink of an eye, the whole office lights up and the door loudly slams against the wall. Uh-oh.
What are you doing?
Hi, August. How are you? How you doing? Don't be all spooky towards me. I watch magic coat every surface, flowing and curling over the walls, floor, furniture. It even creeps over their clothing, their skin too. They stare at me wide-eyed, vivid violet swallowing the once ice blue of their irises, and though I should be concerned that I've been caught, I'm distracted. August. The magic that glimmers upon their clothing disappears and their eyes lose that otherworldly glow, but the room remains silent. A light, not silent, a light. I can't read today. They look at the bundle of papers that I hold tightly in my hand, a frown furrowing their brow.
I would ask that you put those back, Hunter.
Their words are eerily calm, and they seem more concerned than annoyed. What happened to her? They close the door, clicking the lock and checking the handle before they walk towards me. As poised and perfect as ever, they stare me down.
You know, not even Piper found those. I hate to admit that I'm impressed.
Okay, Gus, you can't be sweet talking me right now. You are the suspicious one. They unfurl their fingers in a silencing gesture, and I pause. August is still my superior officer, and I am nothing if not respectful.
I do not wish for Piper to be demoted, nor do I wish for you to meet the same fate, but I appear to be having a case of déjà vu. But, you know, sometimes the hand that feeds is a forceful one.
I'm perplexed. I expected a much harsher conversation. August isn't exactly known for their calm temperament, and this is startlingly out of character. Aren't you going to admonish me? With a sly smile, they shake their head. No, I'm not going to.
I believe in you, strangely. I believe that you're a bright light at the end of a very, very dark tunnel for this town. And I have been questioning things lately.
Questioning things? What kind of questions are we talking about? I need to know this. Is it what your favorite food is? Is it your sexuality? August. Do I really want to pursue him? Not really. Oh God, now I have to actually answer that question. Do I want to? I have questions for you, I'm here for you, or I just want the truth. If I was in this position, I wouldn't say I'm here for you, because I don't see that. I would have said I just want the truth, because the truth is what matters. Also, I'm definitely gonna lean more towards Demon Boy Omen or Vampire Man Finn than I am gonna be towards a superior guy. That's a weird dynamic. I can't really have that in my life. I just want the truth. Their uncertainty is startling. They've always seemed so sure, so confident. It's like a different person stands before me. Are they afraid too? I just want to know what happened. Their mouth twists and they sigh deeply. I don't know what happened. I am but a pawn. August, please stop being vague. I need to know what is going on here. I let my frustrations show, the pumples crumpling in my grip. She's rotting in the dungeon. No one knows why, not even one who signed her papers. A fierce bright glow surrounds us, magic crackling at their fingertips. I did not sign them. They take a deep breath.
I couldn't do such a thing. This goes higher than me, far higher.
What about the blonde guy? The blonde one who's overly nice all the time? Maybe he's the one who, because he's technically both of our superior, right? So he had to have something to say about it. People are scared to even utter her name. They shake their head, and I notice that I can't get a read on their aura. I am no liar when I say I don't know. Something in my gut tells me that this really is all connected, and this doesn't exactly comfort me. The very instruction that I worked for, that I've dedicated my life to, I move to pull out the sash and let it unfurl, holding it before them, and August's eyes grow wide. Who does this belong to? Aya Walker. Their expression is unchanging. I see it's bloodied. I nod, handing it to them. They carefully lay it across their palms, studying it intently. Heavily and torn to shreds, whatever happened, she put up a fight. They frown, their lips purse. Something is clearly perplexing them.
She was not reported to be injured upon her arrest. That much I do know. Something like that wouldn't be omitted.
Unless they omitted it on purpose. I throw them a sorry stare, wondering how they could be still so sure of such things. You're positive the blood is hers? He asked. I want to tell him how I know, but I can't implicate Ezra nor Alcar, not after they were both so clearly terrified. I'm sure I'm going to need you to trust me on that. Strangely, they don't question it. Instead, they sigh, placing the sash upon their desk. She was yours, August. Don't you know what happened to her? I want to see her, to visit the dungeon. That's smart. Get a first-person perspective. They glance out the window, and another heavy snowfall coats the icy street outside.
I think you need to take a seat. I have a few confessions.
What are these confessions, sir? Are you in trouble? I can hear the rush of my blood pounding in my skull as I take a seat, my heart trying to escape the restrictive cage of my ribs as I stare my enforcer down. August's fingers are visibly trembling. All color has drained from their skin, and I'm fearful they might faint. They draw in a shuddering breath and reach for one of the drawers in the desk, pulling out a vial that glows a vivid lavender. If it's some type of liquid or something, then I could get Ezra to tell me what it is. I recognize it from the very first time I met them back in Ezra's shop. Ha! Which strangely feels like forever ago. The way they demanded it from him was with a desperation that I haven't seen in them since, but it stuck out with me nonetheless. At first, I think they might pop the cork and swallow it whole, their eyes hungry as they shake it, watching the viscous liquid swirl and brighten, not a squirrel. They don't, though. Instead, they place it in the middle of the desk. They proceed to sit on their hands, and I gather that it's a precautionary measure to prevent themselves from indulging. What is that? They clear their throat, unable to meet my concerned gaze. This is what I've been reduced to. Ezra gave this to you? They nod and I reach for the vial. They watch intently, their throat bobbing as they swallow thickly. The room flares to life as I pop the cork. Then August shifts in their seat. It smells fragrant, almost citrusy. It's certainly not as unpleasant as I anticipated.
It is not harmful if used as intended. Ezra could never create such things. He is not interested in enabling me, but I may have pressured him. I may have taken advantage of it, hence the nature in which my magic has been manifesting lately. Just another thing to add to the long list of regrets I seem to have accrued lately.
I'm still not sure what exactly it is, though. I look around the room, now wondering how such a display is possible. What does it do exactly? Yes, that's what I want to know. I can feel a crackle in the air, an obvious shift in tension.
My magic draws from the mind. And when using it often, I tend to grow weary faster than most. It's a weakness I'm not proud of, and I cannot be viewed to be weak when in such a position in this agency.
They gesture towards the vial, and I lay it back upon the desk. Therefore, this affords me the ability to replenish my mana to put myself to use whenever required. Is there a downside then if it's just a mana potion? Psionic abilities such as my own are rare, and I am required quite often. There are quite obviously side effects though. Your health is more important than your notoriety. They seem taken aback by that statement, maybe even a little embarrassed. Yes, and I see that now.
I've been a little blinded by the desire to impress, but the harder I look, the more I realize that I might be pushing myself to the limit for a broken cause.
What are the downsides though? I blanched at that. Those words coming from August's mouth seem unreal. It's a casually honest statement, painfully honest even, and certainly not something that I could imagine the enforcer I met just a week ago daring to utter.
Too many questionable things have happened right under my nose, and I was too blinded by my determination to succeed to see.
Aya, Piper, the murders, we need to get back to the start, examine the root. The root being the agency, the enforcers. With a small nod, they lift their eyes to the ceiling, speaking the next words with great effort. Yes, the enforcers. Then why bring me here? That I cannot answer, I wish I could. Ask about Aya. That would be the smart one, right? Tell me about Aya. They rest their elbows upon their desks, steepling their fingers. They put their fingers in some tea and steeped it. I have no idea. There's not much to tell, really. She transferred here only a few months ago. We barely had become acquainted when she was arrested, though Piper took a liking to her. A small smile crosses their lips. They worked well together, and I finally got to catch up on the ridiculous amount of paperwork I'd accrued during the time spent in the field with Piper. Why were you in the field?
Well, things have been a little busier than usual here in Lunaris lately. Creature activity has been at an all-time high these past few years, and Piper and I made an unstoppable team.
So why demote her? I contemplate that for a moment. For any peak in activity is usually for a reason. It's been worse the past few years, not always this bad. They shake their head. Not always, but it always seems normal now. It almost seems normal now. I make a mental note to remember this to pry later. So her arrest, one day she was just gone, no explanation. It was reported that she went on an unsanctioned hunt. I wasn't aware, and neither was Piper. We never saw her again. I reach for the papers that sit upon the desk between us, Harry's signature as clear as day. You didn't question it? An uncomfortable shift, a squirm almost. I did not. You don't question Harry, he's given me no reason to. I watched him carefully, the furrow in their brow deepening as they quite clearly second-guessed their own statement. Something isn't right here, and Aya's situation feels too convenient to me. Don't you agree? With a sharp inhale, they sit back in their chair. A little of their tension seems to melt away, but their sadness still lingers. I do. Okay, now what about Piper? You mentioned that you didn't want Piper to be demoted, so what happened? Their gaze flickers to the side, staring out the window of the snowy street. After Aya's arrest, Piper became unsettled, rightfully so. Now I look back.
She wouldn't stop rambling about a theory she had about the agency. Corruption, slander, all nonsense to me at the time. She was caught trying to break into the dungeons and rifling through my files. Just like you were this evening.
Well, yeah, but like, you need to tell us, like, you can't keep people in the dark, if that makes sense. Like, if you obviously have something going on and you have people that work for you, you need to keep the information not hidden away. I clear my throat, offering them an apologetic grin. I was too infuriated to think straight, and before I got the chance to defuse the situation, Harry caught wind. I regret the way I dealt with it. Piper was a good friend before this mess began. I should have helped her. I let her down. Their gaze meets mine, and they somehow seem more concerned for me than they are for themselves. You and Piper, you were friends. Hard to believe now, I know, but yes, we were, close enough for her to convince me to arm wrestle her. They absent-mindedly rubbed their elbow as if they were nursing an old injury. Don't do that, ever. The way they light up when they talk about such memories doesn't go unnoticed, and I feel a pang of sorrow for their lost friendship. They both seem like they could do with such company in their lives, and now I understand why they're noted as so prolific as a team. You should speak to her and clear the air. The look they throw me is less than convincing.
Piper is a proud person. She's been wronged by someone she trusted, and she does not trust freely. I wouldn't expect her to forgive me without much begging, but I shall try.
I truly valued her friendship, and I've been cruel to her in my mission to please Harry. That ends now. August pushes away from their desk, swiping the still glowing vial as they stand. They cradle it gently in their palm before it's shoved firmly into the drawer from which it came. What next? What do we do? I think you should speak to Piper. She might know more than me, especially after her snooping. I stand too, my touch lingering upon those discharge papers. I want to go into the dungeons. I want to see her. They avert their gaze, cheeks rosy, their frustration is evident.
I cannot authorize that. Not when I know it would put your position in jeopardy.
They thoughtlessly slide their hand across the back of their chair, cutting me a sympathetic stare, not glare. I can't have a repeat of what happened with Piper. So I go do this on my own, or maybe, here's the thing, I can sweet talk him into giving me permission. Yeah, let's do that. Their concern is etched all over their face, and it makes my heart hurt. I realize that they truly do care for me. Their guilt from what happened with Piper obviously eats them, and maybe our added closeness makes it a little more personal to them. Maybe. August, I swear to you that nothing will happen to me. I know what I'm doing. You seem very sure of that, of yourself. I can't lose you too. It's different than what it was with Piper. They avert their gaze, worrying their bottom lip between their teeth. When they look back at me, they take a step forward, reaching for my hand.
I care for you. And that may sound idiotic. I know we've only been acquainted for a mere week, but...
Yeah, that's a bit weird. It's a bit sus, sir. You can't just automatically... I mean, sometimes you just crush on people. You look at somebody, you're like, damn, look at you. I like you. So, I mean, I squeeze their fingers where they lazily twine with my own, almost as if August was unsure if their affection will be returned. I feel it too. Oh, God. See, I'm not supposed to say that. I was just supposed to sweet talk him. Ah, I see. Well, then I'm sure you can understand my predicament here. I nod, because I do understand. I would hate to see August punished for any of my actions. I do, but I need you to just trust me on this one. I won't do anything to get either of us in trouble. Their hand falls limply from my own, their gaze nervously flicking towards the very locked door. I do trust you. I just don't trust anyone else. Whatever you have in mind, be careful. I smile because I know exactly what I need to do and who I need to help me do it. They watch me intently, lips quirking into a small smile as they watch my face light up. You have a plan, don't you? I do, but I'm not sure you're gonna like it. You may not approve, but we have a few allies that probably know the dungeons better than any hunter or enforcer ever could. The dramatic and sudden roll of their eyes tells me they know exactly who I'm talking about. You want me to enlist a bunch of vampires to help us break into the enforcement dungeons? Bingo, baby, we got Finnegan on our side. Not a bunch, just one. Finn has lived in this town longer than literally anyone. He's a vampire, he doesn't really age. August scoffs loudly. Lived, he's as dead as a door now. So you're just gonna walk into the dungeons, Casimir in tow, and hope not to get caught. I smile at their obvious distaste for my plan. Ezra, Piper, and even Alcar, they can all help too. Do I have permission to proceed? A pregnant pause follows my question, but eventually August meets my gaze once more. You have my permission. But please be cautious. I am no wiser than you here, and I cannot protect you if something goes wrong.
I came here to make something of myself. I was so desperate to move out of the shadows of my parents. I come from a family that held me to such high standards. Standards I could never dream of meeting, no matter how hard I tried.
Their words grow terser as the seconds pass, unraveling gradually.
I don't want this to be my legacy. I want to make the world a better place, not a scarier one.
Maybe start with giving people information that they need, sir. I gather that August has suffered through much frustration and life has weathered them to the bone. They gather quickly. They quickly gather themselves, or they gather quickly themselves, one of the two. I won't let you down. I don't doubt that, actually. Okay, we need to go find ourselves a vampire, but first it is nap time. I head back to the room at the wolf to clear my head and try to figure out my hastily concocted plan a little more thoughtfully. I stay up pondering the fact that we still haven't given the name of the latest victim, and I wonder if Harry is keeping it from me for a reason. After my conversation with August, everything feels wrong. A quick, sharp pain rises in my temples, and I feel that familiar presence lurking. So help me, is that one little ghost guy? Despite that, it would appear that no voices will visit me tonight. Never mind, there's no ghost guy. Because apparently nothing is sacred in this town, I managed to coax Piper's address out of Edna with very little persuasion. I head across the street, surprised that she lives so close to the tavern and as far away from the headquarters as possible. Her house is small, but appears to have character, much like its owner. I take a deep breath and I knock on the door. She looks surprised to see me, but her expression quickly softens.
I wasn't expecting you, especially because I assumed you had no bloody idea where I live. Are you okay?
A timid smile crosses my lips. I definitely don't think this is a conversation to be had in the street. Can we talk? Sorry, of course, come in. Her house is warm and inviting. The walls adorned with an abundance of gorgeous weaponry, and various plants and brightly colored pillows litters the room. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if that circle's a pillow, and 8. You have 8 pillows on a single couch. I don't like you, madam. That is too many pillows. You're one of those people who probably has like 15 pillows on your bed for no reason. Your home is beautiful. That's what I meant. I meant your home is beautiful. Thank you. I've been lucky, really. I know not all hunters catch a break like I have. Plus, real estate in this shithole is cheap. We share a laugh, but I can't help but feel a sense of urgency to discuss things with her. I decide now is not the time for pleasantries or stalling. Cutting straight to the chase is the only way. I have some news about Aya. Her eyes widen, flicking to the side away from me. Aya?
Please don't say what I think you're going to.
Nope, definitely gonna say what I think you're going to. I'm going to. What? I pull the sash from inside my coat and present it to her, but I'm quick to reassure. This was found in the woods, but that doesn't mean she could still be alive, Piper. This has clearly been out there for a while. She reaches out and runs her hand over the ruined fabric, her fingers shaking. With a deep inhale, she withdraws, turning to sit upon the arm of her sofa. Yeah, you have to sit on the arm because there's too many fucking pillows on the sofa. Why are you here? She looks so sad, like she's only thinking the worst. I don't blame her, and I can't imagine how frustrated she must feel with the hand she's been dealt. I wanted you to know that I spoke to August last night, that they were quite honest with me about everything, really. Oh, they were,
I suppose they told you why I was demoted. I acted without rational thought. I was so angry.
Yeah, that makes sense. You were angry, but you also got demoted because of it. That's your own actions. You're at fault there. I offer her a smile, trying to catch her gaze. That's what I meant by all those words. I may or may not have been caught doing exactly as you did. You didn't. I nod, feeling a little smug now. The fear of being reprimanded by my enforcer has dissipated. I broke into Augustus Wilhelmhei's office and lived to tell the tale.
Fucking brilliant. You've got guts. I'll give you that.
I shrug, brushing it off. I'm grateful that the mood has shifted to something that feels a little lighter. You know, August regrets how everything happened. They seemed wistful. I think they missed your friendship. She frowns deeply, fiddling with the edge of her tunic.
They hurt me. I think it'll take me a while to get over that. It wasn't even about the punishment. It was that they didn't believe me. You work with someone for all that time, but when it came down to it, they thought I'd gone mad. Why would I make up such a thing? Everyone jokes about us and our instincts, but they don't understand. When we feel something, we really feel it, you know?
I nod because I do know whatever lies within us that grants us our abilities is something we cannot shake or ignore. And she makes a good point. If like everyone has, like, for example, Augustus or Ezra have their magical abilities, right? So they have their own thing. Well, we have as hunters our own abilities to like really feel something, like I guess that's our like little instincts or whatever that we have. Therefore, why would he not take that as seriously as we take his magical abilities, if that makes sense? So I see where she's coming from. If we sense someone is in pain or they're scared, we feel it in our kind. If we love fully. If we can feel that something feels off, it usually is. They employ us to do that for a reason. I wish they'd have a better understanding of what or how we feel. She scoffs a quiet laugh, rolling her eyes and offering me a small smile. If only.
If August wishes to make amends, I welcome their apology, but it will take me a while to trust them again. I was humiliated and betrayed by one of my only friends. They've got some begging to do.
Because it's funny, because he said he was going to beg. Now that I'd like to see. I'll get you a front row seat if that happens. Deal. Now, I have a proposition for you. We're about to go break into a prison or something. I don't really know how this world works, but we're gonna go break into a thing. Oh. We're going into the dungeon. Sorry, I don't like you enough to give you the heart answer. I want to go into the dungeons. She stares at me, blank expression.
You fucking what? Are you absolutely mad? Fancying a demotion too, are you? Well, let me tell you, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Sorry, I was thirsty. I throw her a look, and she smirks. You're serious then? Well then, I'm impressed. So come on then, what's this plan? We're going to employ everybody, including a clan of vampires. Or just one vampire, really. I'm still putting the pieces together. You inspired me, though. Good to know some good comes out of my suffering, I suppose. Do you have any tips? Any kinks you encountered on your journey? Any kinks you encountered, you know? Anything you might find fancy or what? No, sorry, we're not sweet talking you. Never mind. This shop is closed for you. Open for anybody who's a demon or a vampire, let's just say. The fact that I didn't even get to the door would indicate that I failed pretty miserably, wouldn't you say? There are wards, there are guards. It's pretty impossible unless... Well, you know Ezra, don't you? The witch is more than a pretty face. Speak to him, see if you can convince him to help. Oh, do I gotta flirt this boy into helping us? Probably. She's right, I've seen him use wards in his shop. Ah, that too. And from what I saw, of his magic the other day. You're a genius. She shrugs as if it's the most obvious statement I could have made. Duh. When you're ready, you know I've got your back. Always. Cool, so let's go talk to Ezra then. We fast travel to Ezra's shop apparently, and just skipping the street altogether. Upon entering the shop, I find chaos. I spot Ezra frantically gesturing at Omen, the demon's tail lightly coiled. I'm wary of approaching him after our little incident yesterday, instead of choosing to observe from afar. I managed to catch Ezra's eye, and he throws me a sympathetic look. He's stressed, his hands full of bandages and potions. Uh-oh. He mutters something quick and sharp under his breath to Omen, and then turns and stares at me with wide, sorry eyes as the witch disappears from his purple curtain. If I ask what's going on, will you give me an answer? The question seems to catch him by surprise. Then he looks away, his lips pursed. He doesn't seem to have forgotten his outburst with me yesterday and his abrupt departure. Good. It isn't my intention to trip him up with the reminder, but just as well he remembers. Did you bring someone in who was hurt? Brown eyes snap to me almost instantly, and Omen moves as though to step between me and the entrance to Ezra's back room, then catches himself in the middle and forcibly drops his arm to his sides. He opens his mouth, stammers without speaking, then his shoulders droop in defeat. A little spark that might have caught on the bandage rolls and the hand peters out.
Yes, but maybe you shouldn't see her right now. I mean...
He licks his lips, a flick of his black tongue visible. It seems so eerily out of place as a face so painfully human in its distress.
At least let Ezra see to her first. He needs some space when he works his magic.
Oh, yeah, I gotta sweet talk him. I haven't seen Omen this nervous before. In his admittedly brief time we've known each other, and his fear sets me on edge. Carefully and deliberately so as to not spook him, yesterday's almost burn is still fresh in my mind. I step forward and I put a hand on his arm, squeezing it gently. I'm sure our guest will be all right. Ezra is tending to them after all. Omen blinks at me, then smiles and leans into my touch, visibly relaxing. He's a beacon of warmth in this cold room. His power is wound tight to his core. I feel it under the glamour and the convincing illusion of fabric under my arm, but he won't let it loose. Won't let it hurt me. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I know I'm right. Thank you, sir. Whoever they are, yeah, who is the person? Despite my gentle pride, he still purses his lips tightly together. For a moment I fear I have caused him to clamp down again after all, but then he takes a deep breath and very gently shakes me off. Another deep breath. Omen is steeling himself for something. I can see it. I decide to back off as well, giving him some space. He shoots me a glance and then hugs the items he is holding closer. When he speaks again, his voice is very soft. Hunter, no, Ddog, I have something I must tell you. Are you the one who's been doing the bad things? I'm listening. Omen smiles, though it's brief and weak, and also quick to disappear like candlelight in a storm. His eyes focus as he begins to speak.
2 years ago, I came to Lunaris. That is, I came to stay in Lunaris, after a disagreement with my sire, my father.
Ah, you got daddy issues is what you're saying. I can help you with that. His eyes flicker around the room almost nervously, and I find myself straining to detect any eavesdropping presence. But there is none. Omen seems to find the same thing because his shoulders droop again.
You know what I am. I suppose you've already guessed.
He sighs.
Your people call him Lucifer, I think. The fallen divine. The Lord of Hells.
Yeah, the devil. That's where demons come from. Usually. It takes me a moment to process what he said. However, if you've ever seen the show Lucifer and he looks like that guy, 10 out of 10. Demon lore is plentiful and easily accessible when you're a hunter. Even in our early years in the academy, we pored over detailed logs of our fiendish hierarchies, favorite vices to exploit patterns of their appearances. I would damn well know. I would hope damn well that I know who the devil is, sir. Is what I'm trying to say. That is very nice. Omen's brown eyes widen, his jaw going slack in surprise. The glamour truly is something, and I'm starting to wonder if he learned it from the witch behind the curtains. It is? He coughs.
That was sarcasm, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes.
That was not sarcasm.
Also true. No, it was not. Something also hits me. Our sire? Omen bites his lips and looks away. Then he nods curtly, eyes flicking to the door leading into the shop. He brought another demon here. Well then, does your father know that you're here in this mortal realm? And can he find you? A terrible thought crosses my mind. The burned bodies the hunters targeted. No. The vehemence? Okay, the denial is startling. I quickly hold up my hands for peace, but Omen isn't paying attention. He's shaking his head vigorously, trembling.
No, that can't be him. Him or any of his minions. I would have known. I would have stopped them.
His brown eyes are glowing with the fire as he stares at me pleadingly, literal simmering flames. I can feel the fire in his core standing here, far enough away, and now I know where it comes from. The familiarity makes sense. That's one hell of a secret to hold on to. And who is that in the back then? I'm guessing a sister? I don't know. Still, this demon right here in front of me, so nervous and so afraid I might hate him, and so achingly endearing, takes priority. Thank you for telling me. Thank me? I nod slowly, hoping he sees how serious I'm being. This is no small secret to trust a stranger with. I smile. But then again, we aren't strangers, are we? There's a pause. And then Omen smiles as well, wide, genuine, and so very relieved that I want to come to him. Give him a hug, anything. Yeah, you're right, thank you. Omen closes his eyes and says something too quiet for me to hear. Then he breathes in, breathes out, and slowly makes his way to the counter. He sets all the items in his arms down. There with such deliberateness, I know he is doing so to calm his nerves. Something sneaks through, though. I see a flicker of flame about his hair, an intensity to his aura. But only briefly. The pressure fades as Omen raises his head. He doesn't look at me as he speaks.
I think I'll just head outside for some fresh air.
You about to run away from me? How about no? Are you sure? Omen smiles at me over his shoulder, the curve of his mouth tense.
I think it's for the best. I don't want her to see me like this, rattled and angry.
She's my sister. Who called that one? He trails off, staring into the distance for a moment. Then he shakes his head and makes for the door, only adding one last thing before he steps outside.
Will you go and say hello to her? I'm sure Elaine will find you quite lovely.
Omen and Elaine. Sure, I can say hi to her. What is this angelic noise? Should we have demon noise? Anywho, the second I lay my eyes on her, it's more than a little obvious that she truly is related to Omen, maybe even his twin, unless the glamour is simply fooling me. Ezra has a poultice carefully pressed to her dainty hand, a pile of gauze covered in a thick black ichor, discarded upon the counter on his side. She blinks at me once, twice, her eyes big and brown, and every bit as earnest as Omen's. Hello. Her voice is disarmingly sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna call that little hello I did disarmingly sweet. Almost musical, even. I smile at her politely, looking for Ezra for a little guidance. Elaine, this is Ddog. Ddog, this is Elaine, Omen's twin sister. Yeah, it's twins. I assume Ezra was just as unaware of her existence as I am, but he's polite enough to stay calm and focused, as friendly and as hospitable as ever. It's nice to meet you. Ah, you too. Elaine narrows her eyes at me for a brief moment. Shaking her head, she looks terrified. She addresses Ezra, but she certainly keeps her eyes on me, on my weapon. Where is Armoros? I look at Ezra, my confusion quite evident. Armoros. Ah, yes, that. Her face lights up when I say his name, but I gather she doesn't fully understand my trepidation. Ezra turns to address the demon, patting her hand gently. He's just outside and you're all healed up, but I do think you should go and see your brother now. Ah, okay, yes, I should. Ezra releases her, throwing me a sorry look over his shoulders as he turns to quickly dispose of the mess of medical supplies. It was lovely to meet you. Her demeanor is delightful, and I'm still slowly processing exactly what her brother just told me. Yeah, you too. She glances to me briefly before shyly averting her gaze, turning to meekly part the curtains that lead into the shop. Hello? Sir. Yeah, Amara, that by... The second she's gone, pale figure bursts through the back door. He looks shocked to see me, but quickly recovers. Is she healed? I forgot Armoros was the other twin. She's fine, she's with her brother. I suggest you give him some space for the time being. As his words are final and somewhat stern, and Armoros quickly wilts under his vibrant green gaze, his eyes still lightly glowing from whatever magic he's just performed. I don't really know how to unpack all this. Yeah, I'm gonna need some questions answered. We're gonna go and take you in for questioning, and by that I mean let's just go into, like, I don't know, the bedroom or something to question. No, that sounds like I'm gonna do something bad. Maybe not that. What happened to her, and why are you so desperate to be by her side? He stares longingly at the curtain, Elaine's voice quiet on the other side. Then I remember the note on the stoop of the Ibex, the little heart. They're a couple. The little note in the stuff. It's gotta be what it is, right? Because it was demon handwriting with the little heart. I believe it was demonic or some sort. This Hoa. Ah, yes, I'm courting her, you see. Ha ha, see, they're a couple, I get it. We're together. She was attacked last night by it, the one that's been getting to your kind, I think. Ezra and I share a look, doing little to hide our shock. It, as in the creature? Armoros closes his eyes, sighing heavily, then he nods. Yeah.
If you need to tell us something, we can help. Elaine didn't need to get hurt, so if you know where this thing is...
I agree. He looks at me, then back at Ezra, his throat bobbing as he swallows thickly. He's quite clearly battling with the idea of divulging any more information. Sir, your sister is not here. She's not gonna be the one to keep you from talking. You obviously need to know something. Encourage him. 100%. Let's encourage him. Be nice. Amra, it's okay. You can trust us. You can trust me. I'm a new guy who's been here for a week. I barely know anybody. I'm the most trustworthy of them all. We just want to help. That too.
He's right. No one will know what you tell us. We just want people to be safe.
He sighs again, his shoulders sinking in defeat. I just want her to be safe. Yeah, she'll be safe if you tell us the information you have. Why are people so silly sometimes? We can see you care for her for a great deal, and we want that too. His ice blue eyes flicker quickly between each of us, and it's the most animated I've seen him. Why are you being so nice to me? My sister and I know it's mostly your sister being an asshole. You're fine. He trails off, almost looking right through me. If you have information about the creature, we need to know. People are dying, so I find it hard to hold your beliefs against you if you can offer assistance. Very well. Aurora has been sneaking out at night as of late. Was it her? It's not exactly uncommon for her, but I believe she's been doing more than satisfying her baser urges. Ezra looks away, covering a quiet cough with his hand. We don't have time to unpack all that, but I'll store it away for later. What do you suspect? I suspect nothing. I know she's feeding it, or something at least. Feeding it? He seems unfazed, startling so. She may seem cruel and cold, but Aurora has a good heart. She cares for the creatures and makes sure they're safe. Can I see Elaine now? Can you maybe elaborate a little more? That would kind of be helpful. He shrugs, sighing again. It is what it is. I don't dictate to her what she can and cannot do. I find myself losing interest in our preachings. I just want to keep Elaine safe now. Ideally, we'll leave this wretched place for good, but her and Omen have only just reunited. Would she be so quick to leave him? Maybe not. I think it's best for the both of you to stay here and lay low. I'm not sure why the creature attacked her. It hasn't attacked anything inhuman so far. That makes sense. It's only been hunters. He looks at me, fixes my gaze, and with perfect confidence, how do you know? Good point. A chill rolls down my spine, but I shake it off. Good point. Only thing that's been given to us is when it's a hunter that's involved. The last attack, not including this one, but the last attack, if the last attack wasn't this attack that literally is right now, if it wasn't a hunter, then Harry or what's his face wouldn't have told us? You're right, I don't. I'd really like to leave now. You can leave, but I need you to promise me something. He narrows his gaze. Go on. Watch Aurora, and the second you see her do anything out of the ordinary, you find me. I will ensure Elena's safe, I swear to you, but your cooperation is essential. I see Ezra shifting nervously out of the corner of my eyes, but I stand my ground. Armoros continues to assess me. Fine, I will seek you out, and I will watch my sister. Farewell, Hunter. Witch.
Well, that was interesting.
I agree. I anticipate some commotion from behind the curtains, but I hear nothing but silence. Interesting is putting it lightly. How are you anyway? I huff a quick laugh because that question feels far too casual for the amount of information I've just digested in the last forever. Tired, confused, the usual. I suppose I haven't done much to help with that, have I?
I wanted to apologize for not being totally honest with you and for making your life a little harder than necessary. You already have so much.
Doesn't matter. What is with this town and holding information for? I'm supposed to be the guy that fixes everything. You gotta tell us stuff. Man, how many times have I said that this playthrough? Probably a lot. I'm gonna guess 4. Am I right? I don't know. He seems genuine aside from his odd behavior yesterday, and I have no reason not to trust Ezra. I spoke to August last night and Piper this morning. They know about the sash. Fear flashes across his features, but I quickly reassure him. It's fine, Ezra. They're on our side. They want to help. Even Gus? Yes, even August. Are you sure you're not magic? Because that seems like an impossible task. I shake my head profusely. No magic here, just idiocy. His smile, I added the idiocy part if you didn't notice. His smile grows and he seems to relax exponentially. It's nice to see. Now let's talk. What are we going to talk about now? He takes a deep breath.
The reason I was so hesitant to discuss Aya, or the Enforcers for that matter, is because I used to work for them.
You were an enforcer?
Hell no. I went in and I assisted in the infirmary or morgue whenever they needed an extra pair of hands. Healers, good healers, are few and far between around here. It's what I always wanted to do, to apply my skills where most needed. Helping those who dedicate their lives to ensuring our safety was an honor. The murders began and I examined the first body. You can even call it that in the state that it was in.
I listened intently, taking all of this in, a little perplexed, a little caught off guard.
Something shifted within the headquarters after that. They started treating me differently, called me in less. And then, when I was there, they kept me clear of any hunters. It became quite clear they didn't want me there any longer. Information was being kept from me, important notes about the victims I was supposed to be examining. The Aya incident happened, then another dead hunter turned up, and they revoked my access.
They took away all of my notes. Notes? He nods, glancing over at the kitchen counter. I may have had Piper retrieve them for me. If you'd like to take them, there's not much, but you're welcome to them. I don't know if those notes are important, right? Because those are just past people. I mean, the smart thing would be to take the notes, but we don't always do the smart thing here in Ddog Plays Games land, so we're gonna not take the notes and see what happens. I don't see much use in having some scribbles that I'll barely understand. I know nothing of healing or medicine, so I decide they're probably safer in Ezra's hands. That's true as well. You keep them. I think they'll be more of use to you than me. He nods, understanding. Very well. So why are you so afraid to tell me this? You did nothing wrong. You were helping people. He offers me a sorry gaze, his brow furrowed, his fingers curled into fist at his side.
They don't like people talking about it, about the deaths. Many of us have our suspicions now, and they know. I think they'd do anything to keep what's happening quiet.
Like not telling me who the latest victim is. Exactly. I wasn't even sure if I could trust Gus, but I wanted to so badly that I pushed my apprehension aside. You're right to trust them. They're on our side. They're scared too. Ah, Gus, I just want this all to be over. What are we going to do? I smile and Ezra's expression lights up. You have a plan? You betcha I have a plan. Guess what? We're gonna do a jailbreak. Not really. We're just gonna go into the dungeons. I need your help. I can't do this without you. This is what you need to do. Do I sweet talk him too? I've sweet talked everybody except for like 2 people so far. So, however, Omen's here and that would be really weird. So no, I'm just gonna say I need your help. I'm going to need your help along with a few of the others. Anything you need, I'm your guy. Well, magic-wise anyway. We share a laugh and Ezra definitely seems more relaxed now, like a weight has been lifted off of his shoulders. Piper and I are going to the dungeons to see if we can locate Aya. If we can talk to her, I think we might have a start. Everything leads back to when she was arrested, as far as I can tell. How on earth are you going to get down there without being caught? That's where you come in, sir. That's where you come in. Ha ha! That's like the 3rd time I've said what they were going to say. It may involve you and August working together. Does Gus know about this little plan of ours? Of yours? I grimace, waving my hand in a so-so gesture. He kind of knows, partially.
You're lucky I trust you, and I'm here for you. Just tell me when and where.
Thank you. Now, how can I find Finn? I need to call. I believe he said scream for him if I need him, and I just don't want to go out there and being like, I feel like that would be bad. Why, secret passageway, of course, you're in the right place. He bends down, kicking aside a colorful rug to reveal this hidden latch. It creaks loudly when he opens it, a gust of cold, stale wind rising from the depths.
Walk for about 10 minutes, and then when you see candlelight, it's the 3rd door on the left. Don't be alarmed by any vampires you stumble across. They're all friendly.
I nod, taking a deep breath. I lower myself into the latch, gazing up at him with a smile. See you around. And I believe next time we've got to go find ourselves a Finn. If you ended up liking this video, please click the like button. It makes me very, very happy when people do that. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Every weekend I do reactions to K-pop stuff, which has been doing really good. And then also the gaming stuff will always be here. It's what I like to do. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Goodbye, everybody.